24th. We haven't had any breaking news shows since our Wednesday show, which has been very disappointing. We haven't had any major signings since then. Hopefully we have some coming up in the next week or so. We heard Brad Hand might actually sign today. We might even be bringing you a breaking news show after this. And if that takes place in the middle of the show, you better believe we'll be talking about that in the middle of the show. So make sure you guys are staying tuned, keeping your eyes peeled, because we will be here whenever something like that happens. But today, we have a Canadian-born roster. As you've seen us do a few times during this offseason, we have done a few custom rosters where we have all put together rosters of players that fit a certain criteria. Today, we're doing all-time players born in Canada. They are born in Canada, not lived in Canada. These are people who were born in Canada. So this roster is a pretty good one. There were a few positions that were tough to fill, but other than that, there's a lot of really good players on here, and I think it's pretty exciting. Make sure you stick around to the end of the show. Nick has his segment, Nick Knock. That's going to be a fun one. We've been waiting for Nick's segment for a couple of weeks now, so we're happy to have him back finally doing the segment after we've had the other two segments fill themselves in. So without further ado, let's get on into it. The only thing that was a caveat for this roster was players that were born in Canada to play in the major leagues. That is the only thing that you needed to consider here. And I changed up the roster a little bit for those of you that have been paying attention to the last few custom rosters we've done. The new layout you'll see as we go along, but we have shifted things a little bit. But don't worry, if you hear that we're not including some players, they will be coming towards the end. We've got, like I said, a few changes that have been made. So we're going to start off. We are now only doing one starting pitcher at a time. We're going to have two backup pitchers that can be starters or relievers. So that's going to be how that works. One starting pitcher. It was tough to pick one starting pitcher. There were definitely some solid starters, but for me, I had to go with the Hall of Famer for Fergie Jenkins. Really difficult to not go with him. Nick, I'll let you take it away while my phone rings.
Yeah, I also went with Fergie Jenkins. It was, like Michael said, it was a tough position to pick because there's a lot of good Canadian pitchers, starting pitchers wise, but Fergie Jenkins definitely stands above the rest with this. But there's all other solid starter pitchers like Ryan Dempster, guys like that. But Fergie Jenkins for me is my starting pitcher.
Yeah, I went Fergie Jenkins as well. It's because he had 7 20-win seasons. I can't think that you would expect us to go anything else. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of like 2 Canadian Hall of Famers, so gotta go with him.
I'm sorry. It's funny how different we are from Wednesday to this morning. We are so not energized on Sunday mornings.
Well, I'm sorry I don't feel the greatest, Michael, but we're getting through it.
Okay. It's okay. I'm glad you're here. It's just very funny how noticeable the mood changes from Wednesdays to Sundays. But it's okay. I'm glad you guys are here. That's all that matters. So starting pitcher, yeah, like I said, hard to not go with Fergie Jenkins. Relief pitcher was a little bit easier because there's one guy. We stuck with relief pitchers as a whole. It's closers and relievers in one. I'm going to change it for next show to just bullpen, because I think that's a little bit more inclusive. But bullpen, coming out of the bullpen for me, Eric Gagne is the one I chose. There's no question you can't not go with him. He's one of the best closers of all time, and when he's there, I'm going with him.
Yeah, 100%. I looked up the stats yesterday, and they were insane. I saw a couple 50 save seasons here and there, and a closer of the year type candidate, and he was the easiest pick for Canadian closer, Eric Gagne.
Easy. It's Gagne because you look at it as a closer, he won the Cy Young. That's insane. What else can you expect from him? He had 2 50 save seasons. He has a career ERA. His ERA is a little high at 3.47, but look at everything else. He's one of the best closers ever. So gotta go with him.
And I think it's funny because I didn't do this on purpose, but I'm actually wearing a Blue Jays shirt. I didn't even realize that. That completely had no correlation. I didn't do that on purpose. So it's also an interesting thing with Canadian players that we'll talk about a little more, in that Canadian players oftentimes some tend to have a tie to Canadian teams that have either played for the Expos or Blue Jays. And it's always interesting to see those Canadian-born players have ties to the Blue Jays, play for the Blue Jays. The main one that has ties that didn't play would be James Paxton when he threw the no-hitter there. But we do have some people on this list that did end up playing for the Blue Jays at some point. And I think that's interesting, to have that connection because that's the only team that they have that's native to them. The next position here we have is catcher, and this is Russell Martin, another one who fits into that category, played for the Blue Jays and ended up being he did play for the Blue Jays, right? I'm not out of my mind here. Okay, just wanted to make sure because Russell Martin hasn't played in a very long time, but he one of those guys who did fit in. Really?
Wow. He was with the Dodgers, played 83 games, buddy.
Wow, gosh. It feels like it's been so long. Goodness. But either way, Russell Martin, one of those people who did play for the Blue Jays, who was born in Canada. Russell Martin's a really great catcher, too. He's always been a very consistent hitter. He had his best years with the Dodgers, but he was a really good hitter all around, and it was hard for me to not pick him to be the catcher. I mean, there was really nobody else that I would want to have in that position.
Yeah, you said it best. Russell Martin's been one of the more consistent players from when I was growing up. I grew up. He was playing for the Yankees when I first started watching baseball, and then went to the Pirates and the Blue Jays for a couple of years. And he was always just a solid player, solid catcher, just kind of one of those glue guys that you want on your team.
Yeah, for Russell Martin, has over 1,400 career hits, 191 home runs, over 770 RBIs. Great hitter. A solid defensive catcher, so yeah, he's the pick.
Yeah, tough to argue against it. Brent, don't yell at me, okay? I forgot that he played for the Blue Jays 2 years ago. It's okay.
Brett,
so now
yelling at him.
he's gonna be yelling at me all day at work today too. I have to deal with it. It's fine. The first base position here was hard because there's so many great first basemen that played in Canada, but there's the one that played from Canada. There's the one that just stands out, and that for me was Freddie Freeman. Freddie Freeman being such an elite Canadian-born player.
You're counting that, okay? He's not from Canada.
Well, he played on the Canadian team in the World Baseball Classic.
Okay, I have him down on my bench because I did not know if you count him because he's not from Canada. His parents are. I just didn't know if you were going to count that or not.
Well, was he born in Canada?
No, he's born in California.
See, then why did he play on the Canadian team? That's what confuses me.
Because both of his parents are Canadian.
Okay, then we're going to change that because I saw last night a picture of him on the Canadian team. We're taking Freddie Freeman out. We're going with Joey Votto. Joey Votto is my first baseman. Thank you, Ryan, for the correction. Gosh. But yeah, Freddie Freeman was good, but Joey Votto was my initial first baseman until I saw last night Freddie Freeman wearing a Canadian jersey. And I was like, okay, why didn't I have him on this list? Well, primarily because he is not born in Canada. So Joey Votto, let's just eliminate the fact that I said Freddie Freeman. Joey Votto is my first baseman, one of the best first basemen of all time. So far, we've agreed on all of these. I think we'll probably agree on a lot of them until we maybe get towards the infield and outfield. But for right now, I think we might have all agreed.
Yeah, I mean, if Freeman can't be here, then it has to be Joey Votto at this point. Votto's been one of the more elite players that we've seen grow up. He's been struggling as of late, but it's interesting. It's interesting to see if he's going to retire soon. But this guy was an MVP at one point. Gold Glove winner, 6-time All-Star with the Reds. He's been the face of the Reds ever since I can remember him. Him and Jay Bruce, the Jay Bruce era was fun to watch. Yeah, I just feel like first thing you think of when you see Joey Votto is Canada. So I think if you were to make anyone the thumbnail of the show, it would be Joey Votto.
Yeah. This man has led the league in on-base percentage 7 times. He has 295 career home runs. He's just shy of 1,000 RBIs. He's going to hit both 300 and 1,000 this year. And he's had an OPS of over 4 times in his career. He's a terrific hitter. He's been the key piece of the Reds organization.
Yeah, what a legendary player, Joey Votto. It's always great to see him getting some notification. So this is where we start getting into, I think, where we're going to have some unsimilar players. I don't know what the word is for that. It just fell out of my mind. Some players that we don't agree with because we're probably we're going to not have the same players. That's what I've been trying to say. Wow. Well, this morning has just been weird for us on the show. So second base and shortstop were 2 positions that was very hard to find. Not many people have played in that position that are from Canada. So that was tough. I went with, for second base, Ryan, you're going to really hate me for this one. I know you are. But I went with one of my personal favorite players of all time, Brett Lawrie, a guy who was a third baseman. I know, Ryan. There he goes. He's running away. But Brett Lawrie was a third baseman, did play some second base in his career, so I put him over at second base. He's an all-around good hitter. He's a good defender. He is able to hit the ball pretty well, so I went with him at second base.
Oh yeah, I have Lawrie on my lineup, but I just didn't do him at second. I went with a different player. I went with Corey Koski. I don't even know if anyone's ever heard of him, but he played for about 8 years. Played for all 8 years for Minnesota. Actually, no, he played 2 years with Toronto and 1 year with Milwaukee. All around solid hitter, 275 average, 124 home runs, 506 RBIs. Was born in Canada, obviously, so he fits the criteria. So yeah, all around solid player. Not much heard about him ever since, but he fits this Canadian roster.
Get out of here with that Brett Lawrie crap. I don't want to hear that. No.
Oh, and
no.
We're swearing on the air.
That's not a cuss word. It's not a cuss word.
Still don't think you're allowed to say it.
Horrible.
So I'll cut it out for the sake of Blaze. I apologize, Blaze family, for Ryan and his misconduct. Continue.
Not misconduct.
Continue.
I went with Corey Koski as well. In 9 years, he had 936 career hits. He had 124 home runs, 506 RBIs. He's a 275 career hitter. What else can you ask? Way better than Brett Lawrie, I can tell you that.
Okay, yes. But I also didn't see Corey Koski when I was looking anything up because his...
Some research.
I did, but I like Brett Lawrie, and I believe he's a good player, so I slotted him at second base. So now third base was one I actually didn't know. I didn't know that this guy was born in Canada, so that surprised me when I found that out. But I put Vladimir Guerrero Jr. here. I had no idea that he was born in Canada, but he was, so he fits the criteria. Current player on the Blue Jays, even more fitting. Guerrero, one of those guys who we are going to grow up, and we are already growing up, but we're going to continue to watch him play. He's going to be in the league for many years, and I'm very excited to watch him play for a long time. An electric player when he's at his best. He's only played in 2 seasons in the big leagues, but he'll get there. He'll reach his peak at some point, and he'll finally get to the potential that we know he can be at. We saw that in the Home Run Derby back in 2019. I mean, just elite power when he can make good contact with the ball. That's why he's my third baseman.
Yeah, 100%. Even though he just started in this league, I think he already makes this all-time team, which is crazy. He's one of the players in the Blue Jays that's a descendant of like a great baseball player, and it's really fun to watch that all 3 of them are on the same team. Now, but like you said, we're gonna watch Vlad grow up and do some great things in this league, and I'm excited for it. And he makes his Canadian team already.
Yeah, I have Guerrero Jr. as well. There's not much really else I can say besides that there are high expectations for him. He hasn't lived up to them yet. He's got to live up to them, otherwise he will be considered a bust. So that's all. That's really has to be said. So he's got to turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, and that's the thing with Guerrero. It was hard to pick, especially because he's so fresh into the league that it's hard to jump the gun on that. But I definitely went with him just for the sake of I know what he can do. We all know what he can do. The home run derby in 2019. I mean, come on. So we go to shortstop here. I want someone else to start us off. Nick, I'll let you start us off this time. I've done a lot of introing for these players. I'll let you start it off, and then we'll just cycle around between you and Ryan.
Yeah. Shortstop, I actually had Brett Laurie. I'm not my shortstop. I know you had him in a different position, but overall, 261 hitters. I mean, he only has 71 home runs. I can kind of see Ryan's hate for this player, but overall, for a Canadian team, this is a solid player, as good as it gets at this point. Can just run on my infield. But yeah, Brett Laurie is my shortstop.
I actually went with a shortstop here, and it's Pop
Chill
Smith.
out, okay.
Pop Smith played in the 1800s. Not a great hitter, but in 11 seasons had 941 career hits, 358 RBIs, and actually scored over 600 runs. So that's my guy. Brett Laurie wasn't coming anywhere near my list.
We know, Ryan. So now for me, I actually went with a guy who played shortstop and is also from the 1800s. I went with him simply because – oh, I'm lagging a little bit. Sorry. Let me close that. I went with him simply because of his amazing name, Chubb Collins. Really funny name. I love the name. He hit 196 in his career over 2 years, but like I mentioned earlier, there have been no shortstops from Canada, which is hard to believe, a position that's so good and requires so much talent. The funny thing is a lot of those players tend to come from outside the United States, but more times they're from the Dominican Republic or other places, which is where they grow that talent a lot. So that's where you see a lot of those players come from, oftentimes not from Canada, as we can tell by this roster. So that wraps up the infield. Chubb Collins, my infielder. Now, what we're doing for the outfield, instead of doing left, center, and right, I think it's a lot better to just go with 3 outfielders here because sometimes it's harder to kind of pick out one position. So I just went with 3 outfield spots. Ryan, I'll let you start with this one. We'll go Ryan, Nick, and me. I'll just start going last for the rest of these. But Ryan, you start us off with your first outfielder.
Easy. Hall of Famer Larry Walker. There's no doubt in my mind. 313 career hitter, over 2,100 career hits, over 1,300 RBIs with over 380 home runs. What else can you expect from the guy? He's also a 400 career on-base percentage, 965 OPS. There's nothing else that you can ask of this man. He was terrific, and he's the other Hall of Famer than Fergie Jenkins from Canada.
Yeah, hitting wise, this might be the best Canadian baseball player we've seen. Like Ryan just mentioned, all of his stats above 313 batting averages. What more can you ask for? Three home runs, over 1,300 RBIs. This guy was incredible for a long time. Played 17 years in the league. Yeah, there's no reason for you not to have this guy in your Canadian outfield.
Yeah, that's very true. The first one you have to go with here is Larry Walker. I mean, Hall of Famer, absolute monster at the plate. That guy could hit some bombs, no question about it. I mean, you guys summed it up very well. One of the best hitters of all time. The other two I think will be interesting for us to go with here. Nick, you can start us off, but I think we might end up having some disagreements because I've got some really old school players on here.
So my other outfield position, I actually went with a guy with the name of Jason Bay. His career 266 hitter, 222 home runs, 754 RBIs. Played for 11 seasons. Kind of bounced around the league a little bit, but I think Michael knows he played for the Mets for a couple of seasons right there. Overall, solid player. And he gets a spot in my Canadian outfield.
For my second spot, I went with Terry Poole, 15-year player. Most of it, 14 of them with Houston. His last year was with Kansas City. 280 career hitter, 349 on-base percentage. over 1,300 career hits. Doesn't have many home runs at 62, but bounces back and has over 200 stolen bases to pair with 435 RBIs. So I went with Terry Poole here.
I didn't even see that his name there because he's a good one. But I do have some other really solid players. The one that I went with here, the first one, is George Selkirk. He is a player. He played for the Yankees for 8 seasons in the big leagues. He had 108 homers, batted .290 with an .883 OPS. A pretty good career for this guy, a person I never even heard of. He was probably a very good player back in his day, especially back in the 30s and 40s. That's the Babe Ruth-ish era. So he probably got overshadowed a lot with a lot of Babe Ruth talk and then with, DiMaggio coming up soon thereafter. But still a very good player, and I think he's very fitting to have in the outfield. So we've got one outfield spot left, and I believe, Nick, you started this one off, so Ryan will go to you for this one.
I had Selkirk with my final one. 400 career on-base percentage. That's really what puts it over the edge. That's terrific. 810 hits in 9 years. He had over 100 more walks than strikeouts. Insanely impressive to me, and I value that. 108 home runs in 9 years with 576 RBIs. Great. It was a shorter career, but he had a great career, so he's got to be in that outfield.
Yeah, my next outfield position, I went with Jeff Heath. This a guy that played in the late 30s all the way to the late 40s. Had a 14-year career. Batted .293, 194 home runs, 887 RBIs. His WAR was 37.6. Overall, a solid hitter. Back way back when. Was very consistent, and he fills up my last spot in the outfield.
Yeah, I've got Jeff Heath here as well, and I think that's a good. I'm glad you picked him out as for your outfield, Nick, because he is a good hitter. He was always a pretty good hitter. I didn't know of him before I went and looked at this roster and trying to fill it out, but he had some pretty good stats, like you said, Nick. I mean, they stood out to me, good enough to fill in that outfield. He was my last spot in there, but that's not a bad thing to be in the outfield. That's a pretty. Honestly, the outfield is the best part of this roster. If you take a look at this lineup here, the outfield is very offensive forward. So that's a good thing. And then the last 4 spots here, as you may have noticed, we actually moved away now that we're done with the outfield. You wonder what are we doing next? I've got backups here now so that we can kind of fit it in somehow instead of saying, okay, having 3 starters, 2 relievers, and then instead of maybe having 2 first basemen or whatever, 2 per position, we're going to have 2 backup pitchers and 2 bench players. I think that makes it a little bit better, so you can choose who you want to have in there. So we'll start with 1 backup pitcher. We'll actually do both backup pitchers at the same time. You can spend a little more time then talking about it. Nick, you can start us off with that one.
Yeah, so my first backup pitcher, I went with James Paxton. James Paxton definitely. I wasn't going to put him over Fergie Jenkins, obviously, but James Paxton deserves to be on this. There's not a plethora of Canadian pitchers, but James Paxton deserves to be on here. Overall, 3.58 ERA, 57 wins, 33 losses in his career. Pitched over 750 innings, 829 strikeouts. Had a pretty fairly short career, only 8 seasons, but it was fairly consistent in those years with Seattle and with the Yankees.
My guy's Mike Soroka. He's a young star, young ace in 2 seasons. 2+ seasons, I'll go with. 2.86 ERA. Only giving up 194 hits. His whip is 1.164. That's not a great whip, but it's not a bad whip. It's average. So I think that he is a star in the making. Of course, a lot of it's going to be depending how he comes back from his torn Achilles, but I think he is a star in the making. So I went with Mike Soroka.
Yeah, and then I've got Mike Soroka as well, and I have my other backup pitcher here is Ryan Dempster. I went with him. He's also the thumbnail of this video wearing that Canadian shirt. But Ryan Dempster he was a pretty good pitcher in his time. He played a lot of years, played for the Cubs, the Red Sox. I mean, he's been a part of some broadcast teams. He's just been all over baseball since the beginning of his career, pitched for so many teams. He's pitched for a very long time. Excuse me. I think he just signed. The Cubs signed him to a contract again. I think, which is even more interesting because he hasn't pitched in a few years. So if he ends up getting to play again, that would be pretty fun to see. So what are your guys' second backup pitcher?
Yeah, I also went with Ryan Dempster. I mentioned earlier. He has more career losses than wins, and in a 4.35 ERA, but overall was a solid pitcher in his prime. I don't know if he will come back out of retirement because he hasn't pitched since 2013, but that would definitely be something interesting to see. But overall, one of the more solid pitchers when we were growing up.
For my last pitcher, I went with John Axford. Has 144 career saves. His ERA is a little bit higher for a closer at 3.87, but you have to value that was at the end of his career where he had ERAs over 6 and 5. So that doesn't help. He has 38 career wins. So I actually went with John Axford to be my final backup pitcher.
I didn't even see John Axford there. I don't know if I would put him over Ryan Dempster in my roster necessarily, but I mean, he was a great pitcher. I remember watching him pitch very well for the Brewers for a long time. So now we've got 2 bench players. My first bench player here is I'm going with Matt Stairs. I'm going to leave the better one for second, save him for last, because Matt Stairs is a pretty good player. Always a fun name. You love talking about Stairs, just whatever. It's just a funny thing to have. And, Matt Stairs has always been a bench player really most of his career, so it's only fitting that he's on the bench. He had some time with the Athletics. That was really where he made his name. So played a lot of years in the big leagues. It's funny because if you think back to maybe a little over a decade ago, players would be in the big leagues just as bench players for a while. Now in today's game, you don't really see many players just have a designated bench role for their entire career. You're either a starter or you're just kind of flip-flopping between bench and the minors. So for a guy like Matt Stairs to spend most of his career in the bench position is really an interesting thing, and we don't really get to see much of that in today's game.
Yeah, my second guy, I went with George Wood. Played in the early 80s, all the way up until the early 90s. 13-year career, bounced around the league for quite a bit, but was overall a fairly solid hitter. Batted 273, 68 home runs. I really like his 601 RBIs, 329 on base percentage, 403 slugging percentage. Overall, just a solid hitter. I don't know much about him because he played in the 80s, and actually the 1880s, to be more specific. So yeah.
I went with Matt Stairs as well for my first bench guy. I think that when you look at this guy, you have to think about how he really made a career off being a guy who was on the bench a lot, had over 1,300 career hits, 265 home runs, just shy of 900 RBIs, and has a career OPS of 832, which isn't bad, especially from a guy that really came off the bench a lot.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's amazing how a bench player like that can have such success. And then I wrap my bench up out here with Justin Morneau, such a good player who really, I mean, you can't not have him here. Such an amazing hitter. Honestly, one of the best hitters here. It was sad that a lot of his career got curtailed because of injuries and other things that took place. But I mean, he was such a great hitter when he was in his prime. That's a guy who, when he was at his best, could probably hit 280, hit you at least 35 home runs. I mean, I remember whenever I play video games, he was my number one guy. And I'm sure you guys probably have him here too. But I love giving respect to Justin Morneau.
100%. He's another guy. When I hear his name, I also kind of think of Canada for some reason, but me and Ryan especially grew up watching him dominate in our division. I mean, him and Joe Mauer were an insane duo for that team. They were so hard to get out, and it was rough facing them for a good part of their careers. 281 career average, 247 home runs, and almost 1,000 or 15 RBIs short of 1,000. One of the better hitters of our generation.
Yeah, you guys said it best. It's Morneau. Well, one of the best Canadian hitters to ever do it. 281 career average, 348 on base percentage, had over 1,600 career hits, and what he always did against the Royals was hit home runs. And I would say a good share of his 247 career home runs came against Kansas City.
See, and I feel like if he played his entire career, we might have seen Justin Morneau potentially be a Hall of Famer. I mean, this is these stats don't lie. He was a very good player. He was very smooth with what he did. He was able to get himself some good hits, good at-bats. And like you said, Ryan, with the home runs, I mean, let's take a look at some of those stats a little bit for Justin Morneau before we move on, because I feel like, I mean, we've got a lot of time, and Morneau is a guy who's just so solid in his game. Oop, clicked on Justin Smoke. Wrong Justin. Let's get to Justin Morneau. Thank you. So now Morneau spent a lot of his career with the Twins. A majority of his career was spent there. He finished his career with the White Sox. And, I mean, the main problem that you see throughout his entire career is that he just didn't play a lot of games. He missed a lot of games because of injuries, which just doesn't help. I mean, playing 13 years in the big leagues, if he played a full season and all 13 of those seasons, he probably would have found himself in potential Hall of Fame talk. And I think the main issue is, I mean, when you hit 247 home runs in only 1,500 games, that's a really good number. I mean, we spoke so much in the best hitter of all time show that, you know, some of these guys with 8,000 games, you know, all these at-bats and stuff, they really have, oh no, it was 8,000 at-bats that, you know, they're just getting these home runs as they have extra at-bats. If you give Justin Morneau these extra at-bats, he probably would have been in some of that talk. So, Nick, I know we're here to you a little early today to do your segment, but we might as well. You might even be able to come up with a few extra because we've got so much time to work with today, and maybe we'll even get to end early today. I mean, who are we ending a little early on a show? You know, that's something we don't get to do very often. So, Nick, Ryan's not here. Do we want to? I think we should wait for Ryan to come back because he said he'll be back.
Right.
I mean, so what are we going to fill the time with? Let's see. Who do we think? Oh, Ryan's back. Okay. He came back perfectly on time.
You can't get rid of me yet.
No, we weren't trying to get rid of you. We were just trying to fill time until you came back. So thank you for coming back and perfectly on time. Nick's got his segment now. Nick Knock, for a little refresher of what he does. Nick, give us a little background of what your segment's all about.
Okay, so basically, I just pick a new position each week, and then I come up with players that they have to try and guess. I give the players their stats and a few of their accomplishments and accolades. And then if they need more hints, I give them more as we go along. But usually they get it like in the first couple minutes. All right, should we get started?
Are we doing second baseman today?
Yes, sir. Second baseman is the position we are doing today. Starting with this hitter, 299 career average, 140 home runs, 725 RBIs, 4-time All-Star, 1-time MVP, and a 2-time World Series winner.
Oh, never mind. I was going to go right off the bat Altuve, but he's only won the World Series once.
How many did you say? 149?
140.
No, 120. Oh, 140.
Huh. I guess.
Second basemen are tough because there's not many second basemen that are
I think I have a guess.
that stand out.
Would it be Pedroia?
Yep, Dustin Pedroia is the player.
Man, he didn't have that many home runs. I thought he had a lot more than that. I thought he was like a 200 home run guy. That's interesting.
I thought he had a little bit more. I thought him being around 170.
Yeah.
All right, Ryan, you get a point.
All right. Next hitter here, had 269, 257 home runs, 909 RBIs, 4-time All-Star, 1-time World Series winner.
Marco Scutaro?
No.
I have two guesses.
Okay.
1, Chase Utley.
No.
2, Kinsler.
Yep, Kinsler.
That's a good one. Okay. Man, I'm trying to dig through my memory of second baseman here. Gosh.
I'm kind
it's
of
tough because there aren't.
I know a little bit of the history of second baseman and old timers, not as much as I do currently. So I'm trying to see if there's any guys that stick with there. Is how I'm trying to take this. Because second baseman, I don't know a ton about history, but I know some.
Yeah, same boat.
All right, next guy here. This is kind of tough, but if you guys need more hints, just let me know. 241 career hitter, 235 home runs, 706 RBIs, 3-time All-Star.
Oh man, that's a low batting average. Hmm.
He also
Sandy
he also played for 4 teams.
Sandy Alomar?
No,
4 teams.
yeah,
Hmm.
How many home runs?
Robinson Cano.
no. Robinson Cano wouldn't have that low of batting average. Would you
Or
say
that low of home
Ryan?
runs.
Ryan, did you say something?
How many home runs? 235.
Yeah, 235.
God, I'm going not too far back, but my only guess I can really think of is Dan Ugla.
Yep, Dan Ugla is correct.
That's a shot in the dark right there.
That was a shot in the dark.
Alrighty. Well, next one here. 267 career header, 149 home runs, 609 RBIs, Silver Slugger. Played for 6 teams.
6. Wow. Ben Zobrist.
No.
Oh, he only played for 2. Who am I kidding?
This is tough. Michael, keep guessing. Maybe you'll help me. Keep making guesses.
What was his average?
267.
How many teams did you say he played for?
6.
Oh, then I might know.
Okay.
Neil Walker.
Yep. Sir.
He's played for 6 teams.
Yeah, that's how I know. 6 teams kind of give out.
Man, I knew he played for the Pirates, Mets, and Brewers and Yankees, but I didn't. What are the other 2?
Phillies, Brewers, Marlins, Yankees.
Oh, the Marlins. Marlins and Phillies are the 2 I didn't get. That's why. Wow, he's played all over that NL East. So you said you only have 5 players. I think you're going to have to come up with a few others by just looking
I'll
at
do
it.
a few more.
Here's the thing. He played with Miami and Philly the past 2 years, so that's kind of that's how I kind of got that. Kind of jumped around towards the end of his career, you know.
Okay. Next guy here. 275 batting average, 211 home runs, 951 RBIs, 3-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glove.
That is a lot of RBIs.
Okay, I just have a guess just because this was the type of hitter that did not hit a ton of home runs, but had a ton of RBIs. It's the only one
Marco
I can get.
Scudero.
Brandon Phillips.
Yeah, Brandon Phillips.
It's
Yeah.
got.
Dang!
He was the type of hitter that just had a ton of RBIs, but did not hit for a ton of power.
Man, I'm not even thinking of these guys until you say the name. Like, I'm not. Like, it's just not even coming into my head. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
They're not even like entering my mind. Goodness.
You guys ready for the next one?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay. 260 career average, 126 career home runs,
That's
545 RBIs. He's also a current player. Has been in the league since 2011 and has played for 2 teams so far.
Was he in the AL Central?
He used to be, yes.
Jason Kipnis.
Jason Kipnis is correct. Michael got it first.
What?
I heard his voice first.
I said Kipnis, and they said Jason Kipnis. Whatever.
Oh no, I said it first.
No, I said it first. I said Kipnis, and
The second I heard AL Central, it immediately jumped into my head. I was like, Jason Kipnis. All right. How about me getting on the board?
Okay, give me 1 second here. Okay, next guy. Sorry, I'm coming up with these like on the spot.
It's okay. We can give you more time to spare if you want.
No, I'm good. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. 296 career batting average, 138 home runs, 735 RBIs. He's a 2-time Silver Slugger, 3-time All-Star, 1-time NLCS MVP. Wink, wink. Also a current player in this league. He's been in the league since 2008. Has played for
Daniel Murphy.
There you go.
Is it really? He had a lot of RBIs. I've been waiting for you to put Daniel Murphy, but I felt like those RBIs were way too high, and I felt like that average was too high too. Man, I thought Murphy was more of like a 270 career, but those Nationals years really pulled him up. Wow. I've been waiting for you to say Daniel Murphy too. Dang it.
Okay. Let me look up this guy real quick. Okay. So career 266 batting average, 167 home runs, 768 RBIs. He is a 3-time All-Star, 2-time World Series winner. He's played for 4 teams.
Zobrist.
Yep.
No.
Jeez.
Oh,
I just heard
two-time World Series winner?
2-time. Royals,
What was he
Cubs.
doing? Oh, I forgot he played for the Royals. Wow. I remember. I'll never forget that top of the. What is up with him in those late inning heroics in the
How do you
clinching
forget
game?
he played for the Royals when you lost to him?
I don't know, Ryan. I guess
trying to
my
forget?
brain is a good way of throwing these things away.
Oh, you're never going to throw that away as long as you know me. Trust me. 2015, baby. Year to remember for me.
All right.
Rematch.
Next guy here. This one's probably the hardest one I've come up with. But 246 batting average, only 31 home runs, 201 RBIs. He's a 1-time Gold Glove winner. He's played for 3 teams. Good luck.
All right, let's do this.
What's the average? What's the average?
246.
241. Oh, 240. I knew it was the 240s.
Wow. Current?
No.
See now. See those home runs. See, I'm getting confused with a lot of shortstops. I'm having a lot of shortstops come into my head. Like I've been thinking of like Brandon Crawford and Andrelton Simmons a lot. Eric Ibar?
No.
That was a good one. Alberto Callaspo.
Callaspo hit more home runs than that. He played for the Royals. He hit more than that.
Really?
Yeah.
See, I'm starting to dig into my memories here. Second baseman. Man, only 36 homers. That's really hard. Let's get another hint.
31 home runs.
Oh, 31. Gosh. Let's get a hint.
Hint. Okay.
Let me get his place of birth.
Okay. Portland, Oregon.
You need place of birth?
Yeah, place of birth. You can. Hey, that eliminates a lot, actually. As you know, he's born in the U.S.
He stands at 5'10", 180 pounds. Usually, I think for me, he's really known for his time with the Cubs. But that helps.
Oh. Oh man. No. No. Oh, come on. This is going to bother me. This is going to bother me till I get it. I know it.
This is going to haunt me.
Oh my gosh. Oh, wow.
He has a cool name, kind of.
Matt Caesar?
No.
Dang. A cool name?
Yeah, I really like his name.
This is a really hard one.
Yeah, it's really tough. I apologize.
It's okay. It's good. I like thinking because Ryan's not getting it easily. No.
I'm trying to think of another hint I can give you guys.
How many RBIs?
RBIs, 201. He went to Oregon State University. He
Still
was
doesn't-
drafted by the Cubs in the 4th round in the 2007 draft.
2007.
He made his debut in 2010.
Dude, I should know this guy, and I'm bothered that I don't. I do know who it is, but like I'm not thinking of it.
Oh, really? Do you know that? Do you know?
No, I know because I feel like I have an idea. Like I feel like I'm right at the precipice of it.
Should we just move on?
No.
Okay.
No.
Because I know who this guy, like I will know who this guy is. From my days of playing MLB 2K 11 and 12 nonstop.
Okay. Should I give you guys another hint?
Please.
Okay.
Yeah.
His last name is a childhood icon.
It doesn't help me.
But like when you hear the name, you'll get it. You get the.
I will, yes, I will, but that doesn't help me at the moment. Give me the first letter of his first name.
D.
This is bothering me.
Wait. Oh, you said he's no first time with the Cubs, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
2010. I know who it is in my mind. I just can't.
Think of his last name. It's a childhood icon.
Dang, I can't think of who it is.
Childhood icon, right?
Yeah.
Darwin Barney.
No, I knew I would know who it is. Oh man,
That was horribly hard.
that was a great one though. All right, let's
so
get
bad.
one more like that, and then we'll end the show.
Okay. How do we find someone like that?
That was a great one. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. That's a winner right there. Darwin Barney. Oh, man. And I knew I should have known that, too. I wasn't thinking of him at all, though. Not going to lie. I was thinking I was –
Let's do 2 more to make it an even 10 because I have 7 and you have 1. Deal?
well, we'll see. We'll see how long this next one takes.
Okay. So this guy, 262 batting average, 105 home runs, 550 RBIs. Played for 12 seasons. Played for 4 teams. He spent. Actually, I'm not gonna tell you where he spent most of his career yet. Yeah.
What do you say?
Start the guessing.
Wait, did he guess yet?
No, I didn't. This is
You can tell me where he played most of his career. That can help me.
not yet. So he played 12 seasons in the big leagues, 105 homers. You said, right?
Yes.
Okay.
How many years? 12, right?
Yes.
Now, is he currently playing?
No, he hasn't played since 2014.
Oh, okay. Ooh, that actually might help a little bit. Okay. Oh. Let's see. See, I'm trying to like roll through teams in my head and try and find a. Ooh, Unieski Betancourt?
I know that's not Unieski. No way.
That would have been crazy.
That would have been a really good one. I don't know why his name has jumped into my head.
Unieski played a lot of shortstop.
Yeah, but he did play a lot of segment too.
Yeah.
I know you would know with him though. He probably would jump in your head pretty quickly. All right, let's get another hint. Go ahead, Marco. You can participate in the comments.
Yeah, let's wait and see what Marco says.
I have one guess. Depending on if you tell us where he played most of his career.
He played most of his career with the Athletics.
Mark Ellis.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Don't know why.
It's been a long time since he played. I feel like he's played very more recently. Can you say this? Well, Marco, it's already over. Sorry. All right, we'll do one more. We can do another hard one because we've got a little bit of time, and this will wrap up the show. You can find a hard one. I would, if I were you, do like a random team generator and just pick like a random second baseman that's played for them, because there's.
I think actually no. Ryan's gonna get this. Never mind.
Yeah, if you do anything with anyone who's ever been a Royal, you know he'll get it right away. There's a lot of really good second basemen though that have played. I mean, if you think about it, you got Ben Zobrist.
Nick, can I take a guess about who you were thinking of putting real quick?
Oh my god.
Were you thinking about putting Mark Gredzelanek?
Oh no.
Damn.
No,
one of my favorite Royals ever.
Good old Mark Gredzelanek.
Okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, let's get it.
Okay. So this guy batted .221, 98 home runs, 316 RBIs, had a .297 on base percentage.
Oh man.
Played for 4 teams. He hasn't played since 2017, and I don't think he'll ever play again.
How many years did he play?
How many games did he play?
Years.
Years. Sorry. 8.
See, now the thing is,
hold on. You
90
said
home runs is actually not that bad. That's a pretty solid number, especially for 9 years.
Hold on. You said 8 years, played since 2017. I got my guy.
No. Like till 2017.
He hasn't played since 2017. I'm pretty sure this guy played for the Mets. I might be wrong. Is it Danny Espinosa?
Yep.
He was a second baseman. You're right.
Played second and short.
I mean, you might as well give us one more, but go for a quick one. That's a good one. Danny Espinosa. He never played in the majors for the Mets.
Credit, Nick. You're coming up with some good ones on the spot.
I appreciate
it. It really is. Some of the best ones have come from on the spot, which is even funnier because you would think that the best ones would come from what you did more thinking about it. But man, these are solid. I'm liking it.
I'm so glad to hear that. Okay. This guy's currently playing 245 career hitter, 121 home runs, 370 RBIs. He's played in the league for 8 years now. He's also current, so he's been in the league since 2013. He's played for 4 teams so far.
I'm going out on a limb here, and I'm going with Scooter Gennett.
No, but you're on the right track.
Scooter Gennett, I don't think he's played for 4 teams.
Jed Jerko.
Yes, good job.
Jed. That's what I was thinking. I was
going to say, on the right track because they played on the Brewers together. That's why. Yeah. For some reason, I've been thinking a lot. I don't know why. I remember a lot about that Brewers team from early on in the decade. Don't have any clue why, but that was a good one. Nick, your segment's really good because it makes us think in a different way. Marco and Ryan go for more of the guess who I am based on another set of things. Yours is just giving us straight facts and so I like that. It's good. All of the segments are so good.
Say something.
I love. Yes,
I've now won 2 straight.
You have. You're on a little roll here, Ryan. We can't let you get hot.
And now it comes to my segment next.
Yes, that is true. So you won't be able to continue that, but we can continue it after. So on this gloomy Sunday morning, we're glad that you came out and joined us. It's nice and I don't know about in Tempe, but it's nice and dark here. Clouds all over the place. It was pouring rain about an hour ago. So thank you for coming on out and watching. Hope we gave you a little bit of exciting and fun baseball stuff for the morning, and we hope you started your day off right. If you want to come back and check us out on Wednesday, we're going to be talking about the savers of baseball. We're going to go back all the way to the war era. We're going to talk about the steroids era, and we're also going to talk about the COVID era. Three very different eras that we're going to talk about in that show on Wednesday. So make sure you're here for that. It's going to be more of a discussion. We don't really have many discussion shows. It's going to be more of just us talking about these things, our thoughts about it, and just a bunch of different things like that. It's going to be cool. Yes.
Could I bring one person who saved baseball in a certain city?
That's fine.
Okay, because I have one.
We can do, if you want to bring other things, talk about savers of baseball in other places, like other thing I can think about is Houston after what happened there, Jose Altuve really bringing that city together, just things like that. But we will be talking about that kind of stuff on Wednesday. It'll be a fun show. So if you guys have anything that you think of that's not in the outline that we're going to be planning to talk about, bring that stuff in. It's going to be a very open concept kind of show, something we don't really have very often. So it'll be fun. It's going to be changed. Ryan is going to have his segment on Wednesday too. Good old Ryan Blank Jeopardy. So make sure you're there for that. Thank you all for coming on out today to watch the Canadian Players all-time roster. We hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you guys all on Wednesday. Let's hope we have some breaking news. Might even be back here in a couple hours. We'll wait and see. Thank you all for watching. We'll
Go
see you
Chiefs today, baby.